Well, hello, everybody. Louise Eddington, Cosmic Owl Astrology. I am known as the Wisdom Weaver. My name's Louise Eddington, sometimes known as Lumina, and I'm on fire with these aspects coming this week, but also feeling very scattered. I'm about to board a plane this afternoon after I upload this to fly up to Seattle for the weekend. I'll be going to my first ever college graduation ceremony. My daughter's boyfriend is graduating from the University of Washington. Very proud of how hard they have both worked to get him through college. Unfortunately, with the state of things in this country and the world, the field he went into is kind of changing really rapidly, so different to when he entered. So please send him really good juju. He's a very smart guy and a very nice guy to find a job in his field soon. But I'm calling this week Explosive Shifts and Solstice Light. We have Jupiter square Saturn and a few other things and the solstice gateway. So this is the weekly forecast for June the 15th through 21st. So first, welcome to this week's Cosmic Weather Report for those dates. I'm an astrologer, a mystic and wisdom weaver, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, like and share the Starlight. But big news, my Spiral Weave membership that you can join here on YouTube or over on Substack. I also post these videos to the podcast app in Substack. And we're in the Spiral Weave membership. I share deeper astrological insights. We have bonus tarot spreads, monthly calls, and other things. Weavers Whispers. Anyway, I've not raised the price on Substack since I started years ago now. And so my whole Spiral Weave membership rate is going up on July the 1st from $7 or $6.99 a month to $9.99 a month. And you can also pay an annual fee of $90 a year on Substack. But current members are grandmothered in at the lower price. So if you've been waiting, now is definitely the time to join. And you can join either here on YouTube by becoming a member here or go over to Substack, where I also write daily, and becoming a paid subscriber over there. And if you join between now, what date are we? June the 13th and the end of June, you will stay at that rate, which is currently $7 a month or $70 a year, for as long as you stay a member. But okay, onwards. At the end of the video, I'll pull together this week's tarot story. We've got the 10 of discs, the star, and the 2 of blades reversed. It's giving cosmic clarity, but first let's explore the week. Okay, so I'm going to share the chart. We start the day on Sunday, June the 15th, as always, and we start the week with the moon in the sign of Aquarius. And as you can see, just to kind of recap a little bit, Jupiter is now in Cancer, Mercury is trotting along through Cancer, Uranus is about to reach the very last or anaretic degree of Taurus for the first time in 84 years. Saturn and Neptune are in Aries. They are going to be turning retrograde in July, but not yet. And they are going to revisit Pisces briefly. And I think that's all the things I'm going to mention about Mars as well. Mars is also about to trot out of Leo, so we'll be looking at all of that. So first, just a note, these weekly forecasts are a bit more of an overview. I invite you to use the kind of keywords I give as anchors and leave deeper interpretation for my daily Substack posts, where I bring in more depth, more asteroids, more daily guidance. These videos would be really long if I did that. But if you go over to Substack, where I write daily posts, you can get those daily posts for free, and so by just becoming a free subscriber. Okay, so June the 15th. Oh my goodness. So we have a Mars, oh, I didn't write my aspects down here. So let me just, and I know them really, but I'm just going to make sure I'm not missing anything. We have both the Mars-Uranus square and a Jupiter-Saturn square on June the 15th. That's quite the start to the week. You know, we'll feel this building over the weekend, and particularly for, you know, a certain person's parade on the evening of June the 14th in Washington DC. We'll be feeling these squares really building. But key words for the day of June the 15th are tectonic shifts, legacy shakeups, destiny reboot, volatility, breakthroughs, pressure cookers. And you could say it with me, we've got a great mutation check-in, as Jupiter's Saturn square and a Mars Uranus square are no joke. These are both squares of recalibration, both harking back to, you know, a Mars-Uranus conjunction, but particularly the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, or called the Great Mutation at 0 Aquarius back at the end of 2020. But let's quickly talk about the Mars-Uranus square. That is really kind of reactive. So let me get that one exact a little bit. I'm kind of enjoying it because, you know, I'm aware that this can be when people completely fly off the handle, and there can be really reactive shakeups. But I think we need to go back. There we go. Okay, the Mars-Uranus square is happening very early on Sunday. Mars is about to get to the very last degree of Leo. Uranus is about to get to the very last degree of Taurus after being in there for 7 years. Mars has had a very long journey in Leo. Leo is the sign of kings, which is kind of because we have the No More Kings parade, and, you know, a certain person trying to be king. And so you see that. And this is a shake-up. And Mars is our action, our will, our drive. It's what we really, really want. Uranus is really kind of revolutionary and breakthroughs and breakdowns. But this is very reactive. Uranus is in Taurus, so it's where people feel their values are being shaken up. It's volatile. But you can choose not to be the reactive person. You can choose to take some deep breaths and go, okay, before you respond and react. It can also inspire you to bring radical change. I just watched an amazing speech by Representative Mallory Stansbury in the House Oversight Committee, where she was really speaking truth to power and powerfully, radically calling out what's happening in California and other places. It was inspiring. I'm sure, in fact, I shared it publicly on my YouTube page if you want to go and look at it. Okay, so, and then we have this Jupiter. Jupiter's just moved into Cancer. Jupiter's square Saturn. Of course, it's also really squaring Neptune. Because it will square Neptune exactly very quickly after the square to Saturn. And Jupiter and Neptune have similar vibes of faith, belief, and hope, but also Neptune can be more dissolving energy. And this one really kind of is that recalibration of all the things that have been building up since that great mutation at the very actually at the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere of 2020. So, and Jupiter again is the faster moving planet, like Mars is the faster moving planet to Uranus. They're both opening squares. This is the crisis in action phase. It's like, what action are we going to take to really kind of bring the change and be the change we want to see in the world? It's a pretty big day. Okay, so we're just going to move a day on to June the 16th. And let me just check the aspects a little bit. Well, on June the 16th, there's all lunar aspects. The moon will remain in the sign of Aquarius until 3:10 p.m. Eastern time, when the moon moves into the sign of Pisces. And first of all, we have, this Aquarius moon is going to is going to trine the Gemini sun. It's going to sextile Eris and Chiron in Aries. So this is all fire and air, okay? And so the moon is then going to square Uranus and oppose Mars. We just had that Mars-Uranus square. And this is, again, acting this volatility. Let me take it to where the moon opposes Mars, okay, so we can see it, and then I'll kind of sum it all up for you. So again, we're still under the Mars-Uranus square, really, but you can see Mars has now moved to that anaretic tense liminal degree. Uranus is only 1 minute from going to that Uranus tense liminal anaretic degree, and these are in fixed signs. Change is being forced, okay, and I'm going to say by the people. The revolutionary vibe is high. The No More Kings rallies are likely to be huge, so stay peaceful if you're out there. I can't go because I'm going to a graduation, but there's other ways of being in the part of the revolution. Anyway, so this is, a powerful T-square. Breakthroughs, breakdowns, whatever you want to call it. This is cosmic tension, electric insights, internal rebellion and external, but also meets intuitive clarity as the moon moves into Pisces. But first, this T-square is zap, zap. It's like electric. Watch for emotional outbursts. But then we get that trine to Jupiter after the moon moves into Pisces, and that is downloads incoming. The moon will slip into the water sign Pisces and trine Jupiter. Jupiter is the traditional guide for the sign of Pisces. This is realizing we're all in this together, and I feel that hope from the revolutionary actions that we might take over this weekend, of stepping into creating and co-creating this future that we wish to see. June the 17th, Mars enters Virgo and the Sun will sextile Chiron and Eris. Let me see what other aspects we have here. And the Moon will also, while in Pisces, will also sextile Venus in Taurus. So that's earth and water. And the Moon will then trine Mercury in Cancer. Excuse me. So the keywords on this day really are precision, healing with Mars in Virgo. This is really driven to do the right thing. This is driven to be useful and to be of service to the world. This is embodied repair as well. And you can see how this is the arc of where we're moving from the revolutionary weekend. And this is sacred service as well, Mars in Virgo. So let's fix what's cracked, this says. Let's not throw it away. Let's use that technique of filling the cracks with the gold and the healing. Of course, the aspects to the lunar aspects add to that kind of healing vibe as well, with the moon in beautiful empathic Pisces. Okay, so that's after a rather kind of zappy weekend, we're moving into some slightly calmer waters, shall we say. On to June the 18th. We have the moon moving into the sign of Aries. Let's see, when does it actually move in? Before the moon moves in, it will meet with the North Node in Pisces, where we're moving towards that more empathic, connected future. Okay. And we actually have the last quarter moon at 27 degrees Pisces and Gemini on June the 18th. Now then, that is, the moon will be at 27. In fact, let me get to that. And this is square to the galactic center as well, this square. So this is the last quarter moon. This is the crisis in consciousness phase. See where that's going? So moon square sun, not anything else. So we can see that the sun is at 27 Gemini here, and the moon is at 27 Pisces. The galactic center is over here at around 27 degrees Sagittarius. This is big because this is the exact point, 27 Pisces, where the lunar nodes sat through the last eclipses, where where Venus and Mercury and Saturn and all these planets, and Neptune all met at this 27-degree mark through the Venus retrograde in March and into the middle of April, and through the eclipse period of this year. So something's coming back to roost, of the chaos and change that has been happening through then. And this is this crisis in consciousness. People are starting to realize what's happening out there in the world, and are starting to make changes and shift their perspective. Poll numbers are changing for certain people, and so on and so forth. Now, after that last quarter moon, you can see that's at 4:34 p.m. on Eastern time. The moon, the Pisces moon, will sextile revolutionary Uranus, which is now at that anaretic degree. This is tense. This is kind of saying, okay, we're at the end of this degree. All these lessons we've learned of Uranus in Taurus about our shifting values and things, it's time to start moving into this new phase. But then the moon will move into the sign of Aries. So let me actually get that. At 7:29 p.m. Eastern, and will, of course, then immediately meet Saturn, square Jupiter, and meet Neptune, and then Jupiter and Neptune will square off. Now, I've already kind of mentioned that Jupiter and Neptune are similar in nature in some ways. They are the modern and traditional guides of the sign of Pisces. But this really, with this last quarter moon on this day and this big square and the moon joining all of this, the key words for this day really are dissolution or revelation. There could be leaky dreams, sacred endings, visionary discernment. Clouds might clear. There's a release point, and this is about dreaming bigger, but filtering out the fog. Because Jupiter is moving forward, it's the faster moving planet again, and Neptune is now in Aries, so the fog is clearing, and Saturn's right there as well, bringing some clarity. This is a big invitation to filter out that fog and dream bigger. All right. So on to Thursday, the 19th. I usually have these aspects kind of written out, but I'm getting ready to fly, so forgive me. So the moon is in Aries all day. We'll meet Ceres, our needs. So this is around taking action, right? Aries, Mars guided, Mars now in the Virgo. This is like, okay, we've got to heal those cracks and do this right thing. There's not many aspects on the 19th, but the moon will sextile Pluto and then move up to conjunct Ceres. So keywords for that day are really embodied courage, power, ignition, root deep motivation. It's potent. This is the aspect to Ceres and Pluto are really saying transform or be transformed. Take back your own power and say, get into your center and say, I can do this, right? Okay, to the future. All right, so the 20th, and we have the solstice late on the 20th in the USA, but for some of you, it will be on the 21st. But all my times are on Eastern because I do have to pick a moment. So let me get the chart actually to that solstice point. Okay. And of course, it's the summer solstice up here in the north, and it's the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. It's the turning of the wheel. It's the turning of the seasons. All right. So you can see how late it is on Friday. Another Friday. I'm recording this Friday the 13th. And on Venus Day. So I kind of like, first of all, I kind of like having a solstice on Venus Day. So I like that it's on Friday for us in the USA, especially with what we're going through. Now, things to say. Well, this is a solar turning point. This is a sacred pause. Solstice literally means still sun. The sun appears to kind of stay still in the sky for about 3 days. Okay, it's to the north for everybody, and it's way high in the sky for the north. We have our longer days, and from the south, it's so far north that they're getting their shorter days. Okay, so there's, but anyway, it's a sacred pause. The solstice, both solstices are sacred pauses for inner alignment. So then the sun enters Cancer and says, let there be light. There's deep roots in Cancer. Of course, we've just got Jupiter moved into Cancer for the first time in 12 years. So that's, the sun will meet Jupiter. So there's a big emphasis on this solstice, on these deep roots and this long reach. And we have also, let me just go back to my other aspects for the day. We also have, you can see the moon moves into the sign of Taurus, Venus sign, so on Venus Day. And the moon will also, on the 20th, sorry about this, square off to Mercury in Cancer. We'll meet with Eris and Chiron in Aries, and before moving into Taurus, and we'll sextile the sun at the very last minutes of Aries and Gemini. So there's a lot of spicy stuff right before the solstice, okay, and including the moon Mercury. This can be about what's your tone. Okay, especially at home. This could be where arguments flare up out of nothing. Don't do it. Don't allow it. But then the moon enters lovely rooted Taurus, and then the sun enters Cancer. And that could be the big makeup kind of thing, the coming back together if you've allowed yourself to be reactive beforehand. Anyway, June the 21st, my daughter's birthday. I'll see her this weekend though, because we'll actually be in the UK by this point, me and my husband. So the June the 21st, I've called that earthy grounding and fated thoughts. Let me give you the aspects for the last day of this week, of this forecast. We have the moon now in grounded Taurus. the moon will trine Mars, newly in Virgo, right? And will sextile Jupiter, newly in Cancer. The moon will also square off to Pluto, and Mercury will aspect the lunar nodes. So, keywords for this day are grounded insight, fated communication, divine timing, and conversations that will change everything with Mercury going to the nodes, especially because the South Node is Virgo, which is Mercury guided sign. So this is the moon's aspects really support hopeful next steps. We're really kind of at this turning point. Things are still insanely crazy and chaotic out there. Um, July is going to be a bit nutso as well, with planets changing signs and things. 2025 is a crazy, crazy year, but things are changing. Keep looking for the signs and keep having those powerful, powerful, powerful conversations. Just astrologically, this is a week that starts with that zap, zap, bang, bang energy. It could be quite volatile. If you are going to the No Kings protests, please keep cool, stay calm, be hopeful, peaceful, dance, and just protest for what you wish to see in the world. I do like that the protests are not happening in DC. And if you're tempted to go there, because I was listening to the Bulwark Post podcast this morning while I walked. Sarah Longwell, who I think is just hilarious. I can't remember what our leader said. Oh, it was, if any protests kind of rise up from my parade, they will be met with full force or something. She said that's almost an invitation. Well, that's kind of that Mars Uranus kind of energy. So don't feel tempted to be drawn in and reactive and react to the bait. Okay. But there could be some volatility, I do have to say, but the week kind of calms down a little bit after that. And then we kind of learn from what will happen this weekend. Then we have that last quarter moon and we go into the waning phase before the Cancer new moon on the 25th. Then we have the turning of the wheel and the turning of the seasons. And we'll feel this shift. We'll feel that the world is turning. I always want to laugh when I say that, because when I was younger, I was an au pair briefly for a while in Connecticut, and we all watched the soap operas As the World Turns. Can't imagine why we wanted to watch those, but anyway. So I'm going to pull the cards now. So let me stop the share, because the cards just add to it. So I pulled the 10 of discs, the star, and then I pulled the 2 of blades, but I pulled it reversed, and swords are always kind of a little bit challenging when they're upright, and swords are actually kind of more fortuitous when they're reversed. So if you're in my book, The Complete Guide to Tarot and Astrology, or Astrology. Anyway, I talked about that. But also, don't forget, my new book's coming out on July the 13th. It's all kind of get uploaded now to Amazon, and I'm so excited. My book on series, my first self-published book, and it's so excitable. Anyway, so the legacy check-in of the 10 of discs. This in the book for this is the Red Threads Tarot, right? You can find it on Etsy in the UK. Here's the card again. This is the spiral of life. Tens are kind of the last numbers card. And I wanted to read you the quote for this one. We are not going in circles, we are going upwards. The path is a spiral. We have already climbed many steps. And the key words for this are I am perspectives. So this card really is asking you to get perspective on what you're bringing long term. Yes, we all wish that all this craziness would be over now, but it will be. And so, keep that perspective. So not just for yourself, but for the collective good. What are we building for the long term? And then comes the star. I love the star card. In this deck, this is Asterion, the minor, what was it called? Oh, God. My words are failing me. Asterion the Minotaur, that's the one. So let me just get to that page for that star. It's card 17, actually, which is 1 plus 7 is an 8. This is I Am Brilliant. Despite the volatility of that Mars-Uranus square and the moon joining in and all of that, this is really kind of that genius zone ideas and insights and breakthroughs coming through as well. And I want to read this quote. What makes night within us may lead the stars. But this star is the guiding light after the disruption. Okay, it's the hopeful beacon pulling you forward towards destiny. Okay, because we are destined to be here at this time, not fated. Thanks, Steve Judd, for giving me that word, that distinction. We're destined. Destiny is different from fate. Fate is like you can't do anything about it. Destiny means you have some free will of how you respond to all this crazy. Okay. And then the Two of Blades reversed. It's time to stop pretending you don't know. Okay. The twos are really about decisions. And this reversed is saying, the indecision is the block, and that the knowing is already inside you. So you're kind of going to go into this inner disagreement and start to find out what you actually know. So, I want to read you another quote. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. And that's by one of my muses, Maya Angelou. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. I almost got to see her speak. She had an event planned in Salt Lake City where I live, and she must have been getting ill towards the end of her life because it was cancelled, and I was so sad. But anyway, she speaks to me in meditations and journeys. So if this forecast has stirred something in you, I invite you to come weave with me in my Spiral Weave membership. Remember that the price will be going up on July the 1st. So, you get the deeper tarot dives, the access to monthly calls. There's one monthly call at the moment. If the membership keeps growing, I will add another one, and other special magic. So, but if you join now, as a reminder, you are grandmothered in as long as you stay a member. But hey, whatever. If you don't do that, don't forget to subscribe to the free posts on Substack or free here on Cosmic Owl Astrology YouTube channel. Share with your cosmic kin if you feel invited. Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, check that little bell so you get notified when I upload new content. But ask yourself, what are you releasing at this solstice turning point, whichever hemisphere you live in? And now go and dance with the solstice fire and trust that light within you. Okay. What a week. What a time to be alive. Love you. I'm going to go and get ready for my flight to Seattle now. Bye.